Yes, you may have noticed I got a haircut. These past few weeks, my hair has been getting a little bit long. But I only mention this because I remember hearing about how for when this movie was being released, there was early screens, and you could see those early screens. You can. The catch was if you shave your head. And for as much as I'm going to talk about this film and give you guys my opinion on it, I was not willing to go as far as to shave my head, okay? The most you'll get out of me is a haircut. I ain't shaving my head to go see a movie. That's too extra. That's too far if you ask me. I'll do anything else, just not that. That to me, I would rather still have hair than no hair. Bugonia is directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, was a screenplay by Will Tracy. The film stars Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, Aidan Delbis, Stavros Halkias, and Alicia Silverstone. According to IMDb's plot synopsis, two conspiracy-obsessed young men kidnap the high-power CEO of a major company, convinced that she is an alien intent on destroying planet Earth. You want to talk about a director that is out there, somebody who makes these really bizarre and just crazy films that are well made and well executed. Look no further than Yorgos Lanthimos to deliver on that front. This man is on like the same level, if you ask me, as like David Lynch. Rest in peace to him. But he is on that same kind of level. He is a director that goes out there, makes the movies that he wants to make. They are so unconventional and they are so darkly disturbing that they are actually at times hilarious. I know that sounds crazy. It sounds insane when I say it, but really, the guy has a unique way of kind of going about the commentary that he wants to display in his movies. From The Lobster, The Killing of a Sacred Deer, The Favorite, Poor Things, which gave Emma Stone an Oscar win for that role, and Kind of Kindness, Lanthimos has a unique but fascinating style of his own compared to most other directors out there. This guy is just out there making some really bizarre stuff. That's the best way I can say it. And he is not for everybody, okay? That is for sure. That is up to the viewer on if they want to see his movies. I'm just telling you that is who he is. This marks now his fourth collaboration with Stone after the latter three films. One that I just mentioned won her Oscar for Best Actress. I was very intrigued by what I was going into with this movie. And that is always something that I can tell you. If you're going into a Yorgos Lanthimos movie, just being intrigued and just being like, just give me something what you got. I don't care what it is, just give me something. It may not be amazing, but I can at the very least appreciate that you're willing to go out and throw something at us. By all means, give me what you got. Now, having seen it, it will definitely divide audiences like his previous films. That is for sure. He is not somebody who is for everybody. You either are going to be fine with the movies that he makes, in particular this one, or you are just going to outright say, like, fuck this guy, don't like his style, don't like what he does. And that I can understand. But I myself really enjoyed this movie for what it is. I know so many people who don't like him, I know are already going to be turned off by it, but I'm just telling you for myself, I really liked what this movie was and how much Lanthimos was willing to go in terms of being so unconventional with how most other movies are today, try to have a lot of commentary that you kind of feel like is traditional in that way. This feels untraditional in the way in which he goes about it. Because this, to me, was a disturbing, bleak, and out there film that I found just really fascinating, really interesting, has its own way of going about discussing the world that we're living in at this moment, as much as it is ridiculous, and I know it is. This movie truly does tell us the state of the world that we're in and how we kind of view everybody and how we see each other as. But before discussing my only problem with this movie, and yes, there is only one issue with this movie and one problem that I have with it, here are the positives. The performances are intense. Emma Stone is cold and manipulative as Michelle Fuller, the CEO of a pharmaceutical company believed to be an alien. Stone is able to carefully ride between seeming sincere and calculating. Of course, I will get to the person that stands out the most, but Emma Stone, talk about an actress that goes from being this very mainstream type of actor that goes out there and just knows how to have fun, but also for an actress to then just go and make some really bizarre, crazy stuff like this and Poor Things. You would have never pictured Emma Stone from like the 2010s to be making movies like this, because this is a movie that is fully out there for her, and she is definitely playing somebody who, yes, plays a corporate type. Yeah, we know how this all is, but how she carefully is balancing the idea of trying to seem like she is sincere and understanding to somebody who you know is like, all right, this bitch is really calculating. You know that this person is trying to go around circles on these guys who are trying to know if she is an alien or not. One believes it, but really, this is somebody who is trying to take advantage of these guys who truly seem like they have a lot of issues with them, mainly the one in particular that I will mention. But Emma Stone is able to carefully balance out how to come off in the scenes that she is in and just kind of switch on a dime. And to me, Stone is one of those actresses that I think is so versatile today, and one that I still always appreciate seeing her just go at it with a role like this, or even just movies like these, because yeah, a lot of mainstream actresses wouldn't dare kind of go into this territory, and she is able to do it. If she is willing to shave her head for a role like this, I mean, there's no telling how much she is willing to go as far as she does. Jesse Plemons, though, to me stood out because he is disturbing and unpredictable as Tay gets, a man influenced by conspiracy theories to kidnap Michelle. And Plemons just makes you feel sympathy and also frustration by the choices that he makes in this movie. It's not to say that he's not disturbing in the sense of like, oh, he's creepy and very malicious in what he wants to do. No, he's disturbing in the sense of kind of how real he is, in the sense that, yes, I know that sounds far fetched, but what I mean by that is more so how real he is, in that you know that there are people like this out there, and that he is somebody who has had a very tough life in terms of his relationship with his mother and dad, but also another instance that happens in this movie with a police officer. He has had a rough go, and also it does explain like his relationship with Michelle, not just because of this kidnapping, but much more of how he was affected by her and the company that she works for. And you understand why he does this, but at the same time you have to look at him and say like, this is crazy, man. You're doing something that I don't think you really want to do, but you're doing it because you've been warped into this perception of what reality is. And Jesse Plemons is another actor that I think doesn't get a lot of credit, because he truly is somebody who isn't really a terrible person. He's just so manipulative in what he's been fed, what he has been told, and how much he is so desperate into feeling like he wants to be seen and heard, that he's willing to do this just so that way he feels like he can get back at really what has not really just happened to him, but rather just feel like he's a hero, feel like he's being seen, because of course, for somebody like him, for a person that truly seems like he has some serious mental health issues, he just plays it so well, and he is able to naturally be convincing in that. Both Stone and Plemons are excellent together, which leads to some really dark but intense confrontations in the film. If there is one thing to watch this movie for, it is these two. The back and forth banter that they have throughout this entire movie is just so riveting to watch. It is very captivating, and it really just showcases how much these actors are very strong when they are given really good material, and how they elevate and how they escalate a situation in this movie. Because of course, with these two constantly bickering and battering with each other, Stone trying to plead with Plemons and Plemons trying to extract information out of her, clearly shows how much that these two are just on the same level with one another. They never feel like they are on opposite footing when those scenes are happening. But also, shout out to newcomer Aidan Delbis, because I found him to be innocent and lovable as Don, who is Teddy's cousin, who helps him hold Michelle captive. And this is a actor who is also on the spectrum in the movie. yes, he is definitely somebody who seems like he is on the autism spectrum, because it's just nice knowing that there is an actor like Ian Delbis out there who is willing to work with not only just talent like Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons, but shows that roles like this can be acceptable and really seen as a positive way for actors on the spectrum to feel comfortable to perform with talented actors like this and material that is so out there, but they are willing to do it because of how much they really want to be in this field. But Delbus keeps with the film by being as nice and as honestly decent. Because, yes, he is probably the most decent and probably sane human being in this movie. And it's weird to say that because people would make fun of the idea. But yeah, he's probably, as much as, yeah, people could say, like, man, they have somebody on the spectrum in this movie. Oh, I hope they're not doing something horrible. No, he is really the most decent and innocent person in this movie because he's just going along with his cousin who clearly needs help, but also Don's also somebody who has been feeling like he doesn't belong in this world. And it's just cool knowing that you have an actor like this who is able to be as convincing and as lovable as he is, because I really did find Don to be a really innocent and enjoyable presence in the movie. Both Plemons and Delbis are great together by having this really loving, very sweet relationship, and you can tell that Jesse Plemons and Ian Delbis had a really good time with one another and enjoyed each other's company in the scenes that they are in. And they add some really funny but also very heartwarming parts. I know that sounds weird to say, but it is true when I say that. The direction is on point. Director Yorgos Lanthimos keeps it all focused on these intense moments that just build up upon each other, letting it all feel solid from beginning to end. Yorgos Lanthimos is one of those directors that just knows how to really craft a film that's based on the idea of its commentary through dark humor. Now, he did not write the script, but he knows how to build a scene with that humor, with the feelings of uncertainty and tensions being built. He knows how to do that very well. He is one of the few directors that just knows how to unexpectedly just build it up in a way that you don't think would normally kind of come off as seeming like this is what a big deal. Like, yeah, it is, because he's able to just masterfully do that with ease. The story is complicated. Seeing these two men hold the CEO captive to save the world was exciting. This will leave audiences conflicted. And this is the one aspect that I think will test audiences. If you are willing to go see a movie like this, I know that it will either make you or break you. Because, yeah, if you do not go along with Yorgos Lanthimos' style in terms of what he wants to say, or rather what Will Tracy put together, you are not going to like this movie. But if you are willing to go along with what Yorgos Lanthimos is used to doing, how he expresses it, it's there. And yeah, there are some really good aspects of social commentary, whether it be conspiracy theories, how the media manipulates people into warping their minds of reality, pharmaceutical companies not giving a shit about people and people that are lesser than them in terms of the social hierarchy. Like, there are things to be had about this movie and how it delves deep into that, and I think it all pulls it off very well. The cinematography is raw. Cinematographer Robbie Ryan shoots a bright, claustrophobic, and seamless film that keeps it condensed to its sets. Having the 4:4 aspect ratio was, I think, the perfect choice for this movie because it helps narrow down the film and its story into these settings and these locations to where it feels like that tension is always constantly on edge every time. And the scenery itself is gorgeous, especially when it showcases like bees. As much as I hate bees, I really do. It is very beautiful to look at, and I think out of some of Yorgos Lanthimos' movies, this is definitely one of his more like brighter looking films. Not to say that Poor Things wasn't, but I think this one is definitely a very bright film compared to films that he has done in the past. And Robbie Ryan was able to shoot a film that I feel like really captured the isolation and desperation in the situation that our characters find themselves in. The writing is solid. Writer Will Tracy crafts a script that uses a bit of dark comedy, but also makes it dramatic on its commentary. It may be twisted, but it's scary on being relevant to today. And like I mentioned with its story, yes, there is a commentary about how the media works, how it warps our minds, as well as the social hierarchy, the oligarchy in which this pharmaceutical company doesn't care about anybody that works underneath them as much as they could say that they will cover for things and do all this stuff. They don't really care, you guys. There is a lot of corruption with regards to how a lot of big companies like this try to take advantage and how it really screws over people who barely have enough to cover it. And I think Will Tracy is able to pretty much blend together what Yorgos Lanthimos is used to with his own way of showcasing what it means to feel like you are somebody who wants to be seen, hopefully be taken seriously as somebody who feels as if like society has kind of cast you aside. The music is terrifying. Composer Jerskin Fredericks creates a score that's bombastic and loud when the build-up reaches the peak, feeling like a stage play for the big screen. The music in this film really does remind me of how plays tend to have these abrupt, loud, orchestral parts that feel frantic and feel chaotic, but it just works in the film. And Fredericks is able to do that. It feels right for what the movie is rather than feeling like it is out of place. There's never a point where the music ever felt like it never worked. It all felt like it was natural in the moments that it happened. The production is well done. It may be small, but it feels contained in the execution. From the sets and crew work, it all worked out in the end because for a movie that is on a budget of, I believe, $45 to $50 million, it was all put together very well and felt like all that money was spent exceptionally with what they had to work with. And for a film that seems is out there for what it is, I am just happy that this is a movie that is able to get the funding that it needs to be able to be seen in theaters like we have now. The editing is consistent. Each cut felt fluent and precise when it happens, feeling like time was taken on this process. I am always grateful for a film that is able to have editing that flows and feels consistent with itself and feels like it is seamless. There's never a point in this movie where the editing ever dips in quality and never really seemed like it was choppy in parts. It all felt like it was all on the same line as one another. It never dips in quality. It can always feel like it is consistent throughout. The ending is bold. Compared to most movies, it feels daring on leaving things on a very bizarre and unique way, giving audiences ways to view it, how they see it, how they interpret it. They can literally take it as literal as it is, or rather just see it as kind of a way of we see the world. And for as much as, yes, it is definitely going to be one of the most bizarre endings to a movie because it truly is, I still respect Will Tracy and Yorgos Lanthimos to just say, you know what, we're doing it, screw it, this is what we're doing. And I gotta give him mad respects on that, especially in this day and age where a lot of movies tend to be very safe and very secured in the way they are put together. I'm glad this is a movie that was able to be like, all right, we're going balls to the walls. We're just going in. Everything is there for it to be fantastic, but there is one issue that holds it back from being perfect in my eyes. I wish this problem was fixed because everything about this movie is just so damn good. So here is now my only negative. The pacing and runtime is lengthy. Most of the film is fine, but the other half starts to kind of feel like it is slowed down. With a runtime of 1 hour and 58 minutes, it could have been, I think, shortened up a bit. And there are times where I think it could have tightened up in certain sequences that didn't feel like they needed to be extenuated. But for me, I do think that this movie didn't need to be 2 hours because I feel like by the time the ending happens, I feel like we're just kind of extending this runtime out longer than it needs to. I think this could have worked for like maybe like an hour 40, 45. That is, I think, like the best range for it for me because it just seems like this was really kind of being starting to drag down near the end of the film. All in all, Lanthimos delivered on an unconventional and bizarre film for today. Led by strong performances of Stone and Plemons, Bugonia is able to have commentary about the social hierarchy and dangerous conspiracy theories that today, yeah, is way too relevant than ever before. You never thought we would be in this situation where I have to say a movie that is about two men capturing a woman who they think is an alien would be relevant for today. I know that sounds crazy, and I know it sounds stupid, but guys, look at where we're at. Like, seriously, is this really not that far-fetched? It might not be for everyone, and of course it will not, but the ones that are will be in for something that is completely different and completely unique on its own way, that doesn't feel like it is held back by a studio or committee. This feels like this was totally made from an artistic person who wanted to have something to say, who had access to people who are very talented and very exceptional, because again, Stone and Plemons, they are easily the best things about this movie, and they are the thing that really make sure that this thing is very solid from beginning to end. I'm gonna give Bugonia a 9 out of 10. I think this movie is amazing. It's truly one of my favorites of the year. It definitely speaks volumes to what we're at now in our climate. As much as I know that sounds ridiculous, and I keep on saying that because yes, it is, but I'm telling you, for a movie like this, if you are willing to give this a chance, I highly recommend it. And there are some others that I mentioned in this movie that I truly recommend, but really, I'm just appreciative knowing that a movie like this can still be released in 2025 without having to feel like it had to scrape on by. So I will be soon doing a review for Predator Badlands. So yes, look forward to that review and other reviews coming soon.